All right. Oh. All right. I'll be honest, I was up pretty late last night. I'm decently tired. I was hanging out with friends, having a good time, shooting hoops until like midnight. Yeah, I'm tired, but I think this is a great opportunity to do some somewhat uncomfortable things while tired. Still continuing to learn. I've experienced how much slower my brain is today than typical, and how much more strenuous learning is, and how much, you know, less effective it feels. But, from what I'm learning about learning, it seems like it's actually probably pretty good for learning, but maybe not. I think having a rested brain is just, it's easier to learn, but everything I've been learning about learning is that learning that feels easy and fluent is very ineffective, and learning that feels effortful and strenuous is much more effective. And so I don't know how sleep, effort from lack of sleep, or effortless that comes from fulfilled sleep needs, how that plays into learning. Either way, I went ahead and completed 20 more minutes today of make.com, learning make.com. And today was all about filters. So what are filters? So the day before yesterday, 2 days ago, I guess, we learned about routers, and routers are basically like in the automation chain, the factory line. You can like split things and make them go off into multiple pathways, right? That's what a router is. And filters are like you take each path off a router, and maybe we just take any path, two modules that are connected. You can put a filter in between these, and it says basically, if these conditions are met, then let the data flow. If these conditions are not met, stop the data flow. That's basically what a filter is and how it works. And so they're kind of like logic gates, I think. They're like, yeah, if a condition's met, then let data flow. If a condition's not met, don't let data flow. And so I learned about these things called operators today. This is a very computer science heavy section. But these operators are basically the conditions, the conditions in which you can they are the ways in which you can format your filters. So there's text-based, which means like it's like strings. And if you're familiar with computer science, like a string is like text. So if a text is included, if a text is not included, like you can create filters like that. You can do the same thing with numbers. So there's number-based operators. So if this number is greater than this, or it's less than this, or it's equal to this, then let it flow, or else do not, or vice versa. Text-based operators, numerical-based operators. I think there's daytime based operators. And these daytime-based operators is basically time of day. If it's this time of day or between these times, let it flow or not, vice versa, etc. Then there's one more. And this one was like, I don't remember this. This one wasn't necessarily a text-based, but it kind of seemed like it. It's like very similar to, I'm not sure. This one was, I think it was called like binary. So it's like if this thing, word or number, is included, but wouldn't that be text-based? That's where I was kind of confused. But there's this fourth one that's kind of like, I thought it was basically text-based, but it seemed, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to leave it there. We'll learn more about them like when I have to. I'm a big believer that leaving things sometimes unfinished, learning things, trying to learn something but not learning it well is actually how to learn it deeply in the future. So I'm just planting a seed. There's 4 operators, and I'm kind of confused on the first operator, but I got the other 3, I think. Right, and then, so I finished that unit on the basics of filters, then we got into a unit on more advanced filters. And this is basically and or statements. So you can include and or logic statements. I don't know if that's what you call them, not statements, but you can add and statements or statements to your filters. So and statements are like, in order for the data to flow, both criteria have to be met, or all the and criteria has to be met. If it's an or filter, then just one of them. If either one or both are met, then the data can flow. So and is more restrictive, both have to be met, or all three have to be met, or all conditions within the and statements have to be met. Or is just one, both, like as at least one operator is fulfilled, that's good enough to go through the filter. So that's pretty much it for today. Learned about filters on Make, and I'll talk to you guys tomorrow.